Hello everyone, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thanks for joining me today on this Mystery Monday, and a very happy Victoria Day to all of my fellow Canadian demonstrators and stamping friends. I hope you're all having a wonderful long weekend. So today I'm going to do another project focusing on this Hand-Penned Petals stamp set. Now I know I did a project just a couple of weeks ago, but I saw another really nice sample that I personally really liked by Anne Alexander, who is an Australian demo, I believe. And she used this stamp set to do sort of a vintagey type of card. So I'm going to show you the card, and it is this one. And I thought this was just really quite lovely and vintagey with some of the colors that she used. So let's get started and I'll show you how we put this card together. So we are going to start with a piece of Very Vanilla, which I cut at 11 by 4 1/4. So it's scored at 5 1/2. So our orientation will be like this. Okay, so that will be our base. And then we're going to bring in a piece of the Simply Elegant Designer Series paper. Now I'm just quickly going to show you what this paper looks like. It's very beautiful. It's in our new annual catalog. So you get 12 sheets, 12 by 12. So this one side is all printed with some very elegant sort of patterns on it, and a lot of grays and blacks and whites. So this is really stunning too, just with the leaves there. And this is sort of an argyle kind of pattern. We've got this very subtle one, some more black and white, and then this one. And then the other side, which is quite amazing, looks like this. So this, they've added some gold foiling to it to make it look very elegant. So we've got this one. And then we have this amazing piece. Is this just not so stunning with the copper and the silver and the black? I think that's just so rich and beautiful. And then we have this one with some gold accents in there and copper. And this one here, which is very beautiful with the gold. And this very simple, elegant one. And then this one with a bit of gold accent to it, which is actually the piece that we're going to use on our card. So this is the piece that we're going to use, 5 1/4 by 4, and we are going to do a lot of sponging on this card. So I'm going to take my early espresso and my sponge dauber, and I'm just going to add some sponging on all 4 sides of this. And I think sponging is something that really gives cards a vintage look, or the paper that you're using. Sometimes paper tearing is quite vintage looking as well, but definitely sponging just gives it that sort of old kind of vintage look. Okay, so we'll start with that, and then this we're going to add on top of our base. So we will put our adhesive on here and put this on our base. Now I have switched this up a teeny bit from Anne's design, but it's very close. I just did a couple of different little things than she did. So we'll set that aside for a minute. And then we have another layer of Very Vanilla. Now this one, after I cut it, I put it through the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder, which is this one. It's in the mini catalog. And I think it was also carried over to the large one, so it will be around. So you can see it's got that sort of raised, embossed look on both sides. So what we're going to do here first, we are going to do some sponging, but before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our new soft succulent ink, which is one of our new ink colors, and I'm going to use a blending brush, and I'm just gently going to add a little bit of the succulent on top of this. And what will happen is a lot of it will kind of show on these raised ridges that were caused by the embossing folder. So I just wanted to add a little bit of a green, which is also a color that Anne used, but she didn't use the embossing folder. She did something a little bit different. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. And then what I'm also going to do is using, Anne did some splattering with a couple of different ink colors, but I didn't want to have a lot of mess with the splattering. So I found in the Quiet Meadow stamp set, I found this stamp. And this is a great splatter stamp, I thought, without all of the mess. So we are also going to stamp that in Early Espresso, just randomly on this piece, just to add a little bit of kind of a splatter look. Okay. All right, so now we can do our sponging around this. So again, we're going to add a little bit of the espresso. The espresso is too dark for you. Soft suede is always a nice option, or our crumb cake. I guess it also depends on how inky your stamp pad is. The more ink that's on it, the darker it's gonna look. So you can kind of decide which sort of shade you might like to use. I just had this one, so that's the one I'm gonna use. Okay, so now what we can do is add this on top of the DSP layer. And we'll stick that in the center. This is actually a little bit wide. I might trim this down because I'd like to have a little bit more of the DSP showing. So let me cut this down. Let's see, grab my paper trimmer. I'm just gonna see what this is at right now. Whoops, I have my adhesive on there, of course. So 3.5. So I think the measurement I wanted to use was 3.25. And this side is 4.75. So I'm going to take off 1/4 inch there and do it at 4.5. And I think that will make it just a little bit smaller to show the designer paper a little bit better. Yeah, so you got a little bit of a bigger border around there of the DSP, because it's such a shame to cover up this beautiful paper totally. So, okay, that's better. I must have forgot to cut that piece down. Okay, so now what we can do is our flowers here. And the way I did that was on a piece of Very Vanilla, I stamped this flower image from the Hand-Penned Petals stamp set. I stamped it with a black memento ink, and then I colored it in with our some of our stamping blends. So I used our new soft succulent and our new polished pink. And I just love how this pink pops off the page. You could use another bright color. You don't have to use pink if you don't want to, but Anne used this and I thought, oh my gosh, that pink is just like woof, popping off of the page, and I just love that. So once you've colored that, you're going to cut it out with the corresponding die. and then we can add it on top here. But before I do, I'm going to put my little greeting down because then I'll know exactly where I want to put my flowers. So for the greeting, I'm using a couple different stamp sets today, but out of the Pansy Patch, a little hello from me to you. I thought that was great for this card too. So what I did is I took a piece of vanilla and I stamped that in the espresso. And then, yes, we are going to sponge that just along the edges because it's a very thin piece of paper. Just to give it so it's not quite so stark vanilla. Have it match with all the other sponging we did. Okay, that's probably good. And then I'm going to pop that up with some mini dimensionals. So I'm going to put a few on the back here. Oops. These are so tiny they get stuck under your fingers sometimes. But they are the best invention ever. Well, almost. Okay, so let's put this just a little bit up from this embossed piece. So about like that. And then I can put my flower. So I've got lots of room for that. So this I'm also going to pop up with some dimensionals. So that's how it looks after it's been cut out with the die. And if you wanted, you could sponge around here as well, but I'm not going to do that on the flower part. I think I'll just leave that. So I'm going to add some regular dimensionals as well as a couple of minis on the leaves here. Just so it'll tack down pretty well. Okay. Oh, come on. All right. All right, so I'm going to put the stem fairly straight, I think. Centered, like so. And then I'm going to add some extra leaves like I did here. So in the pen dies, you've got this little leaf die that will cut these extras out. So I cut out about 5 extra. You can certainly do less if you would like. And what I did here was I did sponge around some of the green. This is cut out of the soft succulent cardstock and with the die, and then I did sponge a bit of the espresso around. So I did 5, and what I'm just going to attach these underneath the flower with some glue dots. I thought that was probably the easiest way to attach these. And again, you can attach these wherever you like. I'm just going to sort of randomly put them under the flower here. Make sure that a glue dot sticks down. Okay, oops, I missed that one. There we go. Okay, so let's put one over here. Just tuck that down. And make sure I'm putting the glue dot on the right side here. Okay, so I'll attach one towards the top. And then we have one more that we will put maybe this little cluster on this side here, like so. And last thing is I'm going to attach some linen thread. So I've taken a double strand of the linen thread. I'm not quite sure how long this was. I probably could have cut it a little bit longer, but it's at least probably a good, I'd say maybe 14 inches, and then you fold it in half and tie your bow. You can adjust the length of that if you like. That's just sort of a guesstimate. I didn't actually measure. And then I I just am going to attach that with a glue dot as well, just here on the stem, just to give it a little something. You could add a ribbon if you prefer to add a ribbon. But I like the vintage look of our linen thread. I think that's beautiful. And there you go. There are our 2 cards, our hand-pen cards, just a different vintage look. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed those projects. I do have a host code for May. If anyone is interested in purchasing an online order, you can use host code MQ9QEA2J. And you can use that online at my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net. And happy Victoria Day to all of you. I hope you're going to enjoy your day, whatever you're choosing to do. And we will see you again next week. Have a great week. Bye for now.